Okay, we're going to talk about linear equations, graphs, and functions. So every pair of numbers, 3, 2, -5, 6, and 4, -1, is an example of what we call an ordered pair, okay? So an ordered pair is a pair of numbers written within parentheses, in which the ordered of the number is important, okay? So that kind of makes sense, right? Order is important here because they are x and y, okay? Um, so these are always x and y, okay? We graph an ordered pair by using two perpendicular number lines that intersect at their 0 points as shown in the plane right here. The common point, 0 point, is called the origin. So right there, that's 0, 0. Okay. Okay. You should have seen this before. First we're going to just complete a table. Okay. That's another part of ordered pairs. So I'm going to use this equation and I'm going to complete a table. So I've been given this x value of 0. So I'm going to plug it in. Let me number these 1, 2, 3, 4 so we know which one we're doing. So let's start with number 1. So 3 times 0 minus 4y equals 1. Since it's in the x column, I plug 0 in for x. 0 minus 4y equals 1. And y is going to equal -1, 4. Okay, so then let's do number 2. So in number 2, they gave me the y value, right? So we're going to plug in 0 for y, and I get 3x equals 1, and so x is 1/3. Okay, so that's how I do that one. So on number 3, they gave me -2 for y, so 3x minus 4 times -2 equals 1. So 3x. Now be careful here. Negative times a negative is a positive, so plus 8 equals 1. So before, that 0 just dropped and we just had like a one-step equation, but this time we have a two-step equation, so we're going to have to solve it a little differently. So subtract 8. Okay, so we get 3x equals -7 divided by 3. So x is -7/3. Okay, get used to these fractions, they're important. So 4, -6 is x, so 3 times -6 minus 4y equals 1, -18 minus 4y equals 1. So I've got another two-step equation here. So we're going to add 18, and I get -4y equals 19, divide by -4, so y equals -19/4. Okay? All right. So that's how you use a table to plug and chug. We'll use that throughout 111. It's important you know how to use a table, just because as your math career goes, you're going to use them. Okay, so the graph of an equation is a set of points corresponding to all ordered pairs that satisfy the equation. It gives a picture of the equation. Okay, so a graph gives you a picture of equations. So we're going to talk about linear equation in two variables. So a linear equation in two variables, x and y, can be written in the form ax plus by equals c. You hear this called standard form, also sometimes general form, um, and sometimes you'll see it as like ax plus by plus c equals 0. It really depends. But I usually say standard form. You'll see some places call it general form, but it's all the same. Okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about is finding x and y intercepts. So one of the ways that we're going to graph is finding x and y intercepts, and it's really useful sometimes because we'll have an equation that's kind of funky. And instead of solving for y, it might be easier to graph it using the intercepts, okay? So, two useful points obviously are the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So, x-intercept, okay, crosses the x-axis. And the big deal about this is that the y value is 0, okay? And that's going to be important because that's what we're going to use to find the x-intercept. And then it's exactly the opposite for the y-intercept. So for the y-intercept, the y value or the x value is 0. Okay? So that's important. You need to know how to find intercepts. So when graphing the equation of a line, find the intercepts as follows. You let x equal 0 and you let y equal 0. Okay? So my students, my high school students have always taught me something pretty cool that has always helped me. So anytime I do intercepts, I kind of make an XY chart, okay? And I put like x-intercept here and y-intercept here. And so to know which is which, I know my x-intercept, the y has to be 0, y-intercept x equals 0. So if I start with that, then I know what to do. Then I can do the math, okay? So first we're going to do our x-intercept, okay? And I'm going to let y equal 0. So 2x minus 0 equals 4. 2x equals 4. Divide by 2, and x is 2. Okay, this is important. So you see how I put that 2 there, but there's a 2 and a 0. That's because it's a point. Okay, the x-intercept is the point 2, 0. Okay, and then same thing for the y-intercept. I'm letting x be 0. So 2 times 0 minus y equals 4. Negative y equals 4. Divide by negative 1. And y equals negative 4. So I'm putting negative 4. So my y-intercept is 0, negative 4. So now I'm going to graph this. Okay, so to graph points, remember we start with the x. X goes left and right. Y goes up and down. So it says 2, 0. So I'm going to go over 2 up 0, put up a dot. And then for my y-intercept, 0, negative 4, over 0, down negative 4, or down 4. Okay, then I'm going to graph a line. Okay, and that's my line. All right. So I've graphed a line using intercepts. Okay, let's do another one. So again, they give me this and they say, use intercepts to graph this line. First thing I should think is I should make my little table. I should think x-intercept, y-intercept, 0y for x, 0x for y. Now I'm going to plug it in. 3x minus 0 equals 0, 3x equals 0, x equals 0. Okay, and then for y, 3 times 0 minus y equals 0, negative y equals 0, y is going to be 0. Uh-oh, both my x-intercept and my y-intercept are 0. Okay, so here's the issue with this. I only have 1 point. So here's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to pick another point. Well, good thing I taught you how to use tables. Okay, so let's pick another x-coordinate. So we already used 0. Let's use 2. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 in for x. And I'm going to solve for y. So I get 6. So 2, 6 is another point on this graph. So I'm going to go over 2, up 6, and then there's my other point. So anytime you're using intercepts and both of your intercepts are the same, which would only be if they were 0, 0, right? Then we're just going to pick another point, and then we can graph. My line's a little crooked. I'm sorry. All right, cool. So another thing we got to talk about is graphing horizontal and vertical lines, okay? I cannot take credit for what I'm about to tell you, but this really cool way of remembering the difference between horizontal and vertical lines is something I call Hoy and Vux, okay? Horizontal lines, okay, have a 0 slope and they have a y equation. So that's where I get Hoy, okay? So if you see y equals 3, and I can't ever sometimes remember which way I graphed that, and I'm like, oh, it's a Hoy. It's horizontal, okay? Horizontal is the horizon, so it's going to go that way. Okay, so my line is going to go left to right. So y equals 3, left to right through 3, draw my line. Okay, 0 slope, y equation, horizontal line. So VUX, and I say it very strong, VUX is a vertical line, okay, and its slope is undefined, and it has a x equation. So anytime you see x, you think of a vertical line, and so vertical is this way, okay? All right, so x equals -2 is going to go through -2, and it's going to go up and down, okay? All right, last thing we're going to talk about is midpoint. Okay, midpoint formula is really easy. Okay, if we have 2 points on a graph, okay, so A, B, I know it says x1, y1, x2, y2, and C, D. What we can do is we can add them together and divide by 2, and we can get our midpoint. Okay, so you add together the x's, you add together the y's, and you divide by 2. This will not be like, they won't give this to you on the test, so you need to put this on your formula sheet to have for your test. Okay, so here we go. I always label x1, y1, x2, y2. Sorry, I didn't give you much space for this. Let's do it over here. So -5 plus 2 divided by 2, comma, 8 plus 4 divided by 2. -5 plus 2 is -3, so I get -3 over 2. Anytime we have an irreducible fraction, just keep it, okay? If you want to change to a decimal, that's fine, but MyMathLab is going to probably have it as a fraction if it's multiple choice, and the test will too. 8 plus 4 is 12, so 12 over 2. So let's reduce that final one, so we get -3 over 2, comma, 6, okay? And that is my final answer. Okay, so that's 2.1, and then we'll talk more about slope in 2.2.